What is up, you guys? Jury here and welcome back to a new video. So you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. In this video I'm going to show you how you can run Xenia, which is an Xbox 360 emulator on Linux. Now if you've been a subscriber of this channel, you already know that I made a video 8 months ago showing you how you can run Xenia, specifically the Xenia Manager on Linux. Now the video did okay, but there were some comments of people saying that the Xenia Manager for them doesn't really work properly using bottles, and one of the biggest issues when it comes to Xenia Manager is that it is a WPF application, and WPF applications are a bit tricky to run on Linux via Wine and Proton. So this video is going to be more like an updated tutorial on how to run this emulator on Linux, because there aren't videos showing people on how to run this emulator, because, well, running this emulator on Linux is very tricky, as it seems. I did run some games that I have using this emulator, and most of the games work. I never had any issues, never had any crashes. So I'll show you some gameplay at the end of the video just to show you that the emulator works just fine. So I'm going to show you how you can run Xenia Canary, not Xenia Manager. Xenia Manager is something we're going to have to put aside. So I'm going to show you how you can run Xenia Canary using EmuDeck. So yeah, with that being said, and without wasting any of your time, let's get into the video. So to get EmuDeck, you want to open your browser and you want to type EmuDeck. So you want to go to this first link right here. Before I do anything else, I already made a video called More Linux Apps Every Gamer Should Actually Use, which is a part 2 video. And as you can see in the thumbnail, we can see that we have EmuDeck in the thumbnail. So if you want to get a bit more detail of what EmuDeck is, you can watch my video. I explained the basics of EmuDeck, how to set it up, and so on and so forth. But basically, to get Xenia, you want to install EmuDeck. So you want to go on this link where it says download, and it will scroll all the way down, and you have to choose your own operating system, but I'm guessing most people watching this video are Linux users. So you want to download the Linux version, or you can go with SteamOS if you have SteamTech, but I'm going to choose Linux. And in here you have two options. You can go for the EmuDeck community, or you can go with the EmuDeck EA, but I'm going to go for the free version. So I'm going to download this and I'm going to save this in my desktop. Now you can save this wherever you want, just save the file wherever you feel comfortable, but I'm going to leave it on my desktop. And once you do, you can minimize or close your browser. And because I have a second monitor, I'm going to drag this, and we have our EmuDeck shell script. Now to install EmuDeck, you have two options. The first option you could try is to simply double click this shell script, and a small window will pop up saying, do you want to run the shell script? All you need to do is to click OK or yes, and a terminal will most likely pop up. If that doesn't work, then the second option is to pretty much open your terminal. I am going to clear this. Now you want to type this, or you want to type wherever you saved EmuDeck. So since it's in my desktop, I'm going to type this, and then the terminal is going to lead me to my desktop. So if I type ls, and as you can see, these are the files these are basically my executables that are currently on my desktop. So as you can see, we have EmuDeck. So to execute EmuDeck, you want to type this command, and this will simply execute EmuDeck, and it will install the application basically. During the installation process, it may ask you for your password, which you should enter your password so that you can finish the installation process. Now once you enter your password, a window will pop up, which is the welcome screen for EmuDeck, and in there you basically want to go through the installation process, And most importantly, you want to select Xenia. But yeah, the most important thing is you install Xenia and other emulators, and once you do, you are pretty much good to go and you can finish the installation process. Now, the reason why I'm not showing you visually on how to do this is I already have EmuDeck installed, so I can't show you visually because I don't want to install EmuDeck again. So that's the reason why. In case if you're not sure, I will leave a link in the description which goes in detail on how to install EmuDeck, but you'll notice that the process of installing it is very similar to what I just said. But yeah, once you have EmuDeck installed, which should take about 1 to 3 minutes depending on how fast your computer is, we can now go to the next step. The next thing you want to do is to open EmuDeck, and as you can see, this is what it's going to look like. So you want to go to manage your emulators, and just to be sure, you just want to make sure that you have Xenia installed. But once you do, you are pretty much good to go. So now you want to open your start menu and you want to type Xenia. Now the first thing that should pop up immediately is you should be able to see this, which is Xenia Proton. Now ignore this one, this is basically coming from port Proton. So what's basically happening is because we installed EmuDeck and the emulators that came bundled with it, you can simply launch Xenia via Proton. So if I open Xenia and it appeared on my second monitor, so I'm going to drag this, and as you can see, this is what Xenia looks like. Now when you open Xenia Canary, chances are it's probably going to show a very small window saying, hey, do you want to create an Xbox Live account, which you should click yes. And I highly recommend you set up your Xbox Live account so that Xenia Canary can save that in your Xenia Canary folders basically. But once you do, you want to close this. Now what we want to do is we want to go to the configurations of Xenia. Now you want to look for a folder called emulation. Now this is where you most likely find all of your emulators that EmuDeck installed. So you want to go on this folder or into this folder specifically, and you want to go to ROMs. Now you want to scroll all the way down until you look for a folder called Xbox 360, which has Xenia in it. So as you can see, I can see the Xenia icon. So you want to go into this folder, and now we have found where Xenia Canary is with all of its folders basically. So the configuration file that we're going to open is this one. If let me scroll up to check, yeah. So this is the configuration tool that we're going to use to configure Xenia. Now there aren't a lot of configurations, or there aren't a lot of stuff we're going to configure. There are only a few things that we're going to configure, which is very, very important. So if I scroll down in here, the most important configuration is this one. So you want to make sure that the license mask is set to 1. So what this will do is if you launch any of your Xbox 360 games using Xenia, it's going to launch the game as if the license is already enabled. So for example, if you launch games like Bayonetta or Xbox Live games or Xbox Live Arcade games, this will launch the game as if the license was already enabled, so that you can play the full version of the game without having to play the demo or without having to play the trial of the game. The second configuration, which is optional, is setting the full screen from false to true. Now if you're someone who likes to play emulators in full screen, this is something that you can adjust if you want to, but again, that's an optional feature basically. The next configuration is going to be anisotropic override. So as the name already suggests, this basically sharpens the textures of the game. So if you want to set this to something like 5, for example, you can do that only if you have a very powerful GPU. So for me, basically, I'm going to set this to 4 just to be safe. And with that being said, I believe that is pretty much it. Now, obviously, you can enable something like VSync, which I highly recommend, especially for an emulator like Xenia. Or you can enable something like Discord, which enables Discord, or which basically makes Discord detect that you're playing Xenia. But this is something that doesn't work on my end, but this is something you can try and see if it works. And a very useful feature that I recommend you do adjust is the user country. So depending on where you're from, or if you just want to adjust the user country, specifically where you are from, you can do that in here. And if you do not speak English, or if you don't read English as your main language, you can adjust the user language in here. And yeah, with that being said, I believe that is pretty much it. Now, there are other configurations you can do in here, but I would say these are the basic configurations that I recommend you do. So once you're done, you want to save this. So I'm going to hit Ctrl S, and that will save the configuration. And once you're done, you are pretty much good to go. All right. So with that being said, we are ready to launch Xenia. So I'm going to open my start menu, and I'm going to launch Xenia. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, before you launch Xenia, you want to make sure that you have your controller plugged in, because if you don't, then you may have to close the emulator and you have to basically reopen Xenia again. But once you have your controller plugged in, then you are good to go. So I'm going to open, in fact, I'm not going to open any of these games. These are games I will show at the end of the video. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to my home directory, then emulation, and then ROMs, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to this folder, and I went to ROMs, and these are all of the games that I have. Now, you basically don't have to save all of your games into the emulation folder. You can simply save your Xbox 360 games in your storage drive or in your home directory, wherever you feel comfortable. This is just a tutorial, so don't be frightened if you notice that I have like a long path to just to find a game. This is just a tutorial. So for this part, I think I'm going to select Boom Boom Rocket, which is an Xbox Live arcade game. So I'm gonna select this. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to select open, so the game should just work. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go full screen, and as you can see, the game works. So if I click start, and as you're going to see, my profile has been created and I'm ready to play the game. So I'm going to go single player. In fact, I'm not sure if I can play this game because of copyright music, but I'm still going to show you some gameplay. So let me select, I'm gonna select the standard game. I'm gonna select this one. Let's go with easy. So as you can see, the game works. So yeah, this is just one game, but again, just to show you that the game works just fine. So I'm going to show you Bayonetta and Geometry Wars 3, just to show you that the emulator works and I can play most of these games at 60 frames just fine with no issues.
Long since erased from the records of time, there once existed two European clans who served as overseers of history for the powers that be. The Umbra Witches, dwellers of the darkness, and the Lumen Sages, controllers of the light. The clans paid each other great respect, and their efforts to maintain the balance between them defended the just passage of time. Yet one day, that balance was toppled.
Now let me close this. If you want to know which games work on Xenia, you can go to enemy type compatibility, game compatibility. Yeah. So if you type in Xenia Manager compatibility, then it should lead you to this website, and in here you will find a list of games that are considered playable. So right now there are 16.7% of games that are playable. There are 76% of games that are considered gameplay, and the rest are, well, pretty much in a not good state where they are not playable or they just crash. So in here, if you want to know, hey, does this game work on Xenia, you can basically scroll down here, or you can type, I'm sure you can type a specific game. So if I type something like Bayonetta, as you can see, if I go, can I go here? No, I can't. But if you basically type Bayonetta, as you can see, the game is considered gameplay, which means basically means that the game is considered playable. And yeah, but the game does have some, how can I describe this? The game does show minor graphical, how would I say this, like minor graphical issues, but that's not something that I would say it's a problem. You can play the game from start to finish with no issues. So yeah, with that being said, that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, let me know down in the comments. And also let me know down in the comments if you need any further assistance, if you're running into any weird issues. Write them down in the comments, or you can join my Discord server and I'll try my best to help you out. With that being said, it's your boy Jury, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Take care.